You. That must mean it's Profile time.
Stand to attention.
Woo-woo!
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
We haven't done it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just read through. This man has recently... people have been recently celebrating the 50 years anniversary of this man joining Liverpool. And he's, of course, William Bill Shankly.
Oh, eh? A true giant of the game.
Massive.
I wonder what he'd think of Liverpool as mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
So here we go. Bill Shankly, born 2nd of September 1913.
Winner, straight away.
Yeah, 54 years before Sunderland.
Good.
Yeah.
He was, of course, one of Britain's most successful and respected football managers. He was born in Ayrshire, in the village of Glenbuck.
Yeah.
And football was quite simply a way of getting away from the mine shafts.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Very, very tough.
They chase you about up there, those mine shafts.
Very, very tough upbringing, of course, he had. But he started playing for local side Cronbury, Ellington and Glenbuck Cherry Pickers.
Oh, really? That's a great name.
Why don't they exist
in
anymore?
America. They sound like a Nazzle team.
So he played for them. There's no definitive records for this team, unfortunately, but legend has it that Cronbury were unbeaten at home for 10 years between 1904 and 1914.
They sound like they etched their records into a tree anyway.
Yeah.
I can imagine playing them would have been tough.
And this was partly due to, again, legend has it, partly due to home fans letting the opposition keeper know what his fate would be if he didn't let a few goals in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sort of what they do at Fratton Park now.
Well, yeah, it doesn't tend to work.
No.
Although it did last weekend. But yeah, so Shankly started playing for them, and his appearances caught the eye of bigger teams, and he signed for Carlisle United. He said it was a stepping stone, really, after he left there, of course. Yeah. And a year later, he signed for Preston North End. He won the FA Cup in 1938 with them. But because of the Second World War, it took away a number of his playing years. He also won 5 caps of Scotland. It's also good to point out. So he played for Preston until he retired in March 1949, and in the same month was appointed manager at Carlisle United.
Oh, right.
Now, he was a good player.
Yeah.
You know, won the FA Cup, of course, but we all know him, really, as a manager. So he made a quick impression on the local population in Carlisle United, and he urged them to come and support the team, and he said, you know, this team's carrying the hopes of the region to the rest of the country. And he established his relationship with the fans in his very own unique way. He said, I used to get on the tannoy at 2:45 to speak to the people every other week before the game. Instead of putting something in the programme, I spoke to them, explaining if we changed the team, how it had played in the last game, everything. The supporters loved it. They lapped it up.
That's great stuff,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
He dragged the club into a more professional outlook. He provided a new strip for the first team, you know, little changes like this. He got the board to purchase a large house which was converted into flats for new players coming into the club.
Wow.
And in the first full season, in 1949-1950, Carlisle finished 9th. And he'd won over the people of the town with their brand of football, and season ticket sales for the start of the 50-51 season were an all-time high. They finished 3rd in that season, which wasn't quite good enough for promotion, and he had a bit of a squabble with the board because they didn't give him the bonus that they promised him that if they finished in the top 3. And after a little bit of an argument, he resigned and he took up an offer from Grimsby Town.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm pretty sure he interviewed for the Liverpool job as well, but I think the first time he got turned down.
Was that right?
And then he went to Grimsby. I think I'm right in saying that.
Okay, well, he arrived at Grimsby, and the club was in freefall, having dropped from Division 1 to Division 3. And the morale of the players and the supporters was very low. But he quickly became a cult figure at Grimsby, and the team were regularly drawing in crowds in excess of 20,000. And he used to turn out for the reserve team.
Oh, nice.
Because he still fancies himself a bit of a player. And this would draw huge crowds as well. 5,000 fans watching the reserves wouldn't be unheard of. In the 51-52 season, Grimsby just missed out on promotion, but this was despite picking up an incredible 36 points out of a possible 40 in the last 20 matches. Wow. An immediate impact. Didn't mess around.
That was when it was 2 points for a win, obviously.
That's right, yeah. The 52-53 season started, and everyone You know, a lot of optimism around the club. But the squad was an ageing one, and after a bright start, the sort of season fizzled out, and Shankly was given no money. He wasn't supported by the board. And he was quite sort of disillusioned by it all, and he quit in January 54. Said there was a lack of ambition from the chairman and the club. But he did say in his autobiography, he said that Grimsby team, pound for pound and class for class, were the best football team I have seen in England since the war.
Oh, really?
In the league they were in, they played football nobody else could play. Everything was measured, planned, and perfected, and you could not wish to see more entertaining football.
Oh, God, it's high praise indeed. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. He had a brief spell at Workington, where he got them out of trouble, and then he took a job at Huddersfield. And during his time in Huddersfield, he would again, he really liked to get involved with the locals and all. He's very much a socialist man, very much one of the people, very working class.
Yeah, he was,
and used to get stuck in. And he took part in a kickabout every Sunday with the locals on a field near Crossland Road, near where he was living. And he would play whatever the weather, and would go in as hard on a 10-year-old boy as he would on a fully grown man. Never holding back or altering his style for anybody. Treated everybody the same.
Like Lars Alstrup.
Could you imagine Rafa Benitez doing that?
Not really.
Again, he became frustrated by the lack of ambition showed by the board, and they were constantly urging him to sell the best players, and at the same time failing to bring in, you know, or suggest possible replacements. So, when Liverpool came knocking in 1959 and offered him the job, after 13 years of management at quite a low level, Shankly, he said thank you very much. He'd found a club that shared his own ambitions about the game and were prepared to give him full backing to achieve them.
Yeah, it's worth remembering sort of when Shankly went to Liverpool were nowhere near the club like they are now.
Absolutely.
They were in the second division, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and they're a national institution now, and everyone sort of thinks of them as always being thereabouts. It wasn't the case before Shankly came along.
It's similar to Herbert Chapman in that he was a real innovator with things.
Very much so, yeah. Well, he said before he took over at Liverpool, he said, I'm going to a place where they live, eat, sleep and drink football, and that's my place.
Yeah.
He really felt, it was funny, when he joined Liverpool, I think with the other sides, he kind of saw their potential and thought, yeah, if I go in there, you know, I've got to try and get the locals behind me, we've got to try this, and then maybe we can do this.
Yeah.
It was almost as if him and Liverpool were ready for each other.
Yeah.
You know, he was kind of like, well, this is it. It needs me to come in, and we're off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the final piece of the puzzle sort of
exactly,
thing.
yeah.